All right, so next we've got a new inequality. This time Bert and Ernie are working on an inequality that includes an absolute value. And this is from earlier in our slides. This time Ernie said, and I had another idea. He said, why don't we find the solutions to this by graphing a system of equations like we did in problem 458. So what system of equations should they graph? Well, the first one would just be f of x equals, and we just put what's on the right side of the equation there. And then our second equation, we'll call it g of x, would just be 6. And now we'll find the solution. So g of x equals 6 is already graphed for you up on your screen. It's actually that red horizontal line. I'll just make it blue. And then we can graph the absolute value equation. So you can use Desmos if you want. You might be able to graph this by hand. Remember, we have a left 1, down 2, and then it has a vertical stretch of 4. So we'll end up with something that looks like this. All right, so there's our absolute value over top of our horizontal line. And then we're going to identify our intersection points. Looks like I've got one. My graph isn't drawn with a ruler there, so it's not perfect. But it looks like we've got an intersection at x equals 1, and then an intersection at x equals -3. So I know now if I draw my number line, my boundary points are going to be at -3. Let me move that over just a little bit. And 1. And now I can go ahead and separate my number line into 3 regions and start testing out my points. Now I go back to my original inequality. Remember that original inequality has just a greater than symbol. So when I put my points on here, they need to be open circles. I'm going to use a different color there because that's a little bit hard to see. And then I can test each region. So maybe I test in region 1, -4. Okay, maybe in that middle region, region 2, I like x equals 0 whenever I can. And then maybe in that last region, I test x equals 2. So I'm going to go ahead and let you try those test points again. Come back and check your work when you're finished. All right, and I've written that. You can pause the video if you want to look at it a little more closely, but it's everything in between -3 and 1. I've done that with both a number line and with an interval notation. So in the Desmos, it's actually going to ask you, it's really asking you to write in the interval notation here for the solution.